we getting started, Stacy? Are you gonna be quiet? Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate you. me, 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 me.
Me.
I know that's right. Get you some. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of my podcast, Just Shay and Friends. It is I, Shay, and I am back with my sister, Nia. My sister Nia is I'm going to let her explain because I always mix up those acronyms. I ain't going to say A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
I am a registered behavior therapist, RBT.
RBT, one of
Yes.
them acronyms. I can't ever remember. So my sister's a RBT, and that means registered
Behavior
therapist.
And
And
it actually stands for technician. But
oh, it's not therapist, it's technician.
Yes.
Okay, registered behavior technician.
Technician.
Okay,
Yes.
but we know it as ABA therapist.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So she is in that profession, and she is going on a very important trip to South Africa. Woo! We're super excited. I'm so excited. I just want to get in your bag and go with you. I'm so excited too, but I can't go with her. But it's going in October 30th. Oh, that's your birthday.
Yes.
Hey! So it's like a birthday trip too.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not gonna be no birthday party.
No, it's not gonna be
I'll be
She
working.
on business, okay? My
Yes.
sister is on business. She's
Yes.
not over there to play with nobody,
That's
okay?
sweet.
She's on business because she just told me that they don't have services over there like they have over here. Like for example, Stacy goes to ABA therapy, and he has those services. He has them available for him here. Like many other children in the United States, autistic kids in the United States. We have these services. They don't have them in South Africa. So my sister's job, they're going down there. It's not just you, am I correct? No. They're going down there to teach the teachers and stuff how to deal with give them their techniques and stuff that the RBTs, etc., that they do on a day-to-day basis. Because I firmly believe that ABA therapy works, and I think that it would benefit any child. And I think that if it is not benefiting your child, maybe you need to switch up your RBT.
Yes.
That's what I think. And they're not going to be offended.
No.
They're not. I said in another episode, everybody not for everybody. They're not going to be offended if you say, hey, we need to switch it up. My point is it works.
Yes.
So that's what my sister is doing, and this video is to help support her journey because it is not free. Okay, it's not free. It's not free. So if you want to support my sister, I'm gonna put a way for you guys to donate and to support in the description, so you guys can click on the link, a picture or something. We're gonna get you there. So you want to support her because we need to help those kids over in South Africa.
Can I tell you some of the beliefs in South Africa?
Yes, please. Yes, please. But first, before we get into that, I want to tell you guys the topic because it goes right into that. The topic of today's podcast is going to be myths. I've been having such a hard time saying that word. Myths. Stuff that's not true. Myths about autism. It's a lot of them out there. It's a lot of myths out there, and I feel like a lot of people don't really know that much about autism. So they're making up stuff, and we're gonna fact check it. And we looked up this stuff. We did research. You already know.
Yeah.
I did research. My sister did research. Go ahead, sister. Tell us.
So in South Africa, so far in our trainings, I've learned that in South Africa, one, as she said, they don't have a lot of services, and there's not a lot of awareness of what autism is. So most Africans are very spiritual, and they believe in ancestral worship and different types of worship that are not really common in the U.S. And they attribute autism and other disabilities to that. So a lot of children, unfortunately, get mistreated because of that, or they won't seek the help that children need because they believe it's a curse and they don't want to disturb what the gods are doing. And I'm not knocking anything because I don't know about that. That's not my experience. But because of their beliefs and their perceptions, children with autism there don't get treated well, and sometimes abandoned and sometimes abused.
Mm.
because of those reasons. So, and I've already heard about families that have left, parents that have left, so children are left in the care of
Oh my! You
grandparents
mean they're
or,
just leaving their kids?
yeah,
Oh
because
my!
they don't know what's
That's
wrong with
so
them, or
sad.
they might be running from the curse, or they
Yes.
might be, they're just not aware of what's going on. And I'm sure we have some of that in the U.S., but not
Oh
as
yes,
much.
that's why I wanted to compare. We're gonna get into it. That's why I wanted to compare it with this website because it's not just them that have those thoughts.
So we're going to work with another nonprofit organization called Abba's Pride to help them train the teachers that are already there to work with children with autism so they can receive services and thrive like we do and feel accepted and
Mm-hmm.
love. No child left behind.
No, none. We not leaving y'all behind. Okay, y'all got to thrive in this world just as everybody else does. And I think with y'all going over there, maybe y'all start a trend, and they will start teaching each other what you guys taught them, and then maybe they will start having license RBTs, etc.
Yeah.
And maybe even a school. Who knows?
Yeah,
Okay,
I hope so.
who knows? I
We
see it.
already sponsored one because a group of my coworkers went it before the summer started in the spring. So we do this. Well, we're gonna start doing this every year more, and
Mm.
involving. At first, it was just my boss and her husband going, but now she's involving more of the staff. So we already sponsor a child from Africa. Like we're donating, giving money to these schools and this child so that who was diagnosed by our BCBAs from America to just give her services and provide that she can go to school. I don't think she was going to school. I'm not sure, but um, to my understanding, I think the one that we now she can go to school and have a meal at
That's
school
awesome.
but she was diagnosed so by our team.
Awesome.
So
Okay,
yeah.
I know that's right. Y'all
So
out here doing big
yeah,
things.
we're trying to sponsor some more.
Out
So
here doing big things. So now that we got the announcements out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into our very first. Well, it's not really an article, but I'm gonna put this. I just did a search on Google. I typed in, "What do people think about autism?" And then I also typed in plus myths. So that's how I do my research. So I typed that in and I pulled up this little Reddit thing. If you know anything about Reddit, Reddit is just basically you can ask a question and just people all over the world will answer it. Okay, they might be experts, they might not be. They're just people. They're people. Okay, so what someone typed in is, "What is the most ridiculous myth about autism that you've ever heard?" We're talking about myths about autism, and we have quite a few here, and we're gonna debunk them. I'm gonna tell you what I think about it. My sister's gonna tell you what she think about it, and then yes, think about it. These are just our opinions, but then we also have facts to give you.
yeah,
We have facts, FACTS. Okay, we're not just talking out the side of our neck. We know what we're talking about. I'm an autism mom. My sister works with autism kids. Okay, and we know what we're talking about.
Autism auntie.
Yeah, and she's an autism auntie also, which those are your qualifications right there.
Yes.
They should be, but she has further qualifications. All right, number one myth: Tylenol causes autism. Vaccines cause autism. So that's a ridiculous one in my eyeballs. I've heard that ever since I started going on social media and started talking about Stacey's autism, people were telling me that you should have never did the vaccines, you should have never did this. And then even one of the aunties, one of our aunties, told me way back in the day when we first got him diagnosed and everything. They said, "Well, if you took Tylenol when you was pregnant, that's why. That's why." That's right. So if you took Tylenol when you was pregnant with them, they could be autistic. That sounds ridiculous. To me, I think that sounds ridiculous, and it is not true.
It is ridiculous, but it is believable. Especially with the vaccines and people, there's so much out there to say how the vaccines do so much to your body and to children's body, and there is some truth that vaccines create certain disorders in the body, but Autism, as you're gonna learn later, is more genetic and other things. So I mean, so there's a little bit of like, I could understand a person who doesn't understand autism why they would think that.
Mm, I see what you're saying. So a person that doesn't understand autism, you could see why they would think that.
Yeah,
It's not totally far fetched.
yes, and because they have, just like we went on here and did research, they also have research about that. My studies, when I became a technician to study for it, a lot of that you learn that the reason why that research is there and why there's stuff to support it is because that autism is, the knowledge and understanding of it is just emerging. So the research and stuff wasn't always there about autism, and that's why so many people are undiagnosed, because it is something that is newer and emerging.
That's why a lot of women go undiagnosed.
Yeah.
Because that information is still emerging.
Yes.
It's very new, actually.
Yeah.
Very new.
Yeah.
So, does Tylenol and vaccines cause autism? We think no, and we
No.
looked it up. All right. So, what are the causes of autism? And there are many causes of autism. Research suggests, okay, they suggest that we got to throw in these words now because we don't know. Research suggests that autism spectrum disorder develops from a combination of genetic influences and environmental influences, including social detriments. These factors
Trauma.
Trauma. These factors appear to increase the risk of autism. It appears to increase it and shape the type of autism that a child will develop. However, it's important to keep in mind that increased risk is not the same as a cause. Okay, means just because a person is exposed to all these things doesn't mean it's gonna be it.
Yeah.
That they're gonna have autism. Because what about all the other people that were exposed to the things? How come everybody's not autistic?
That's where the genetic influences come in.
Yes, yes, that's where the genetic influence comes in. Um, some gene. For example, some gene changes associated with autism can also be found in people who don't have autism. That's what we just said. That's what we just said. Other people can have those traits, but that doesn't mean they have autism. They were exposed to it as well. So does that mean it caused it?
Yeah.
Do it mean
Does
it?
not mean that.
You see what I'm saying? Similarly, not everyone exposed to an environmental risk factor for autism will develop autism.
Most will not. Factors that influence autism, which extreme prematurity, because I guess when the baby is born, they don't develop properly. Very low birth weight, prenatal
birth weight.
air pollution exposure. That's an environmental thing. Genetics, gene changes, maternal diabetes, because if you have diabetes and you carrying a baby, all the nutrients that the baby needs to develop is not going to be there. Brain nerve cells, again, genetic disorder, family genome. One thing that I found was interesting was advanced parental age.
Advanced parental age? What does that mean?
A lot more parents are having children at an older age.
Oh.
So that causes different genetic issues.
I see. I see.
Oxygen deprivation from birth complications. Because that basically means everything is not getting to the brain for the brain to function and let the organs function the way it needs to for the baby to develop.
Wow.
So I just thought those were interesting.
That is interesting. And these are all autism risk factors. Not one of them said vaccines or Tylenol. So we just busted that myth right there. Busted that myth is not true. Do vaccines cause autism? This is from, what is this? I'm going to put.
Autism Speaks.
Oh, this from I don't usually mess with Autism Speaks, but they have good information and they're the ones doing the research. So, anyways, vaccines do not cause autism. It is possible that the timing of an autism diagnosis might coincide with the recommended vaccine schedule for children and adolescents.
Yeah. Mm.
So that's
a good
possible.
point, because right at that age is when, because autism is not always caught so early. Nowadays, they are catching them
Yes,
earlier.
yes, that's
I
something I wanted to sidebar because
Yeah,
a mom had asked me, was a 2 year old too young for a diagnosis, and I said
not
no,
now,
not
no.
anymore.
But before, it was hard to, you wouldn't see anything or a child diagnosed um, before 3. But
Hmm.
that's if it was an extreme case. Now,
Right, right. That's when Stacy got diagnosed at 3 as well. But like we said, they can get diagnosed younger than that. But that is true. It falls right along with when you start giving your kid, if you do
all
that,
these
when you start
shots.
giving your kid the shots, the vaccines. That's around the same time is when they could also be tested. So it's coincidental. It's a coincidence. It's a coinky dinkle,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't cause autism. But scientists have conducted extensive research over the last 2 decades. Okay, that's a long time to do anything. Over the last 2 decades to determine that there is no link between childhood vaccinations and autism. Okay, vaccines do not cause autism. It's false.
Vaccines do not cause autism.
They don't. It's fake news. Stop listening to these folks.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it when I heard it at first, but I never did the research until you wanted to do this episode. So that's good to know here that they actually did scientific research, and it's not true. Next myth about autism, and this is still from the Reddit list. This is an actual autistic adult that said this. One time, an old lady told me that autistic people have psychic abilities because we're more in tune with the world. And then I looked it up, and apparently a lot of people think that. A lot of people think that.
I have to confess.
Oh,
Okay.
tell us, girl.
Now, this is before I started learning and studying, before I was an RBT, because I consider myself a spiritual person. I believe in God, and I believe in angels, and I believe in spirits. But so I was like, when I heard that, and I noticed my nephew's sensory behaviors, it made me think like, maybe he is seeing spirits. I didn't think he had psychic ability, but I thought maybe he was seeing something that I wasn't seeing. I do not believe that anymore, because I am aware that there's different one of the main functions of behavior is sensory. And they do things, a lot of children with autism and a lot of people on the spectrum do things because of sensory.
Yes.
Sensory behaviors.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not because they have psychic abilities. I don't think so.
Yeah, I never believed that, but I thought maybe they might be seeing some spirits.
I remember we used to talk about it back in the day because
Yeah.
some of his stems do look like he's
Yeah,
seeing
because
spirits.
used to draw in the air
Yes.
like this and
Yes.
stare into the space.
Oh my gosh. And remember he used to laugh for no reason?
Yeah.
Everybody would be quiet. I mean, you can even hear him in the background today. Sometimes everybody would be chilling, quiet, and then all of a sudden he's just laughing. And when you go and look at him, he like this. Who you talking to, sir? Who you talking to? Who
And
you laughing at, sir?
a lot of that now, if you watch, one thing I learned as a behavior therapist, you have to know your person's behavior. And you're an observer of behavior, because that's most of the way how they communicate, through their behaviors.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
a lot of our children with autism or on the spectrum are very creative in the imaginative area, and they are thinking about things and playing out things that they already lived, or maybe something they saw on the TV, because a lot of verbal my clients who have been verbal, they actually act out what they call a coic. They have a coics and they act out and they do chain reactions. So you know how we might hear a song and we think of that, or we might hear somebody say some lyrics or something like "I love you," and then the first thing come to our minds, I write a song. So that's them. They've made a chain reaction to something that happened, and it's like, oh, that they're playing that in their thoughts and heads. So those are
Being
my
not psychic.
perspectives from observation.
Yes, from observation and from living an autistic life. I can say that I am not psychic. I don't think I am.
No.
And honestly, I feel gypped if other people
When
are
I'm
getting
gonna start
psychic
making
abilities.
real money?
Huh?
When I'm gonna start making the millions?
I don't know. Let me. I be trying to activate it, okay? And Stacey, if you got psychic abilities, I would like to know. Hey, anybody out there? If you autistic, you got psychic abilities, let me know, please. Is this true? I don't think it is. I was scrolling on TikTok actually while I was looking for research. I'd be looking everywhere for it because social media is a great place for research.
Yeah.
You just have to fact check.
Yes.
Okay, so I was scrolling on
fact check.
I was scrolling on TikTok and I found this woman and she was saying that she thinks that autism is a spiritual thing, the entire in its entirety, and she thinks that it's because autistic people are not human; they're not Homo sapiens. Oh, wow. I don't even know if I'm saying that Homo sapiens. She thinks that they from another plane of existence. That's what she said. Autistic people are from another plane of existence. That's why when they come here, she said they can't get right.
That's a different belief.
They can't function. They can't function. That's why a lot of people, autistic people, have high support needs. That's what she said. What do you think about that?
That's a different belief.
Yeah,
I don't agree with it.
That's a different way of putting things.
Different belief. I definitely don't agree with it.
Yeah, I think I came from the same place as everybody else.
I think that a lot of us who have children, well, I don't have a child with autism. Well, my nephew, but a lot of parents who have children with autism haven't. It's the awareness. It's the awareness. Don't know what's out there for their children. Nowadays, yes, there's more awareness coming up and people know more, but there's still places where people don't have no awareness and don't know that they can be helped. So their child might live for 10, 12 years and develop these behaviors that could have been helped. And you know how we get old and old habits don't die easy.
They don't. It's hard. It's hard to stop doing stuff that you've been doing all your life. So I definitely get what you're saying.
And these aren't habits. Think about that. These are behaviors. So
absolutely.
He's not going upstairs because I'm down here.
I thought he was going up there too. He wanted to chime in on the
Stop
podcast.
what? Stop what?
Yeah, stop what? And we thought Stacey was going upstairs, but he ain't. But that's okay. We still having a good podcast. Okay. So we just talked about psychic abilities. Busted that myth. It's not true. It's not true. Okay, we don't have to do research for that one. It's not true. Next myth about autism. Autistic people don't have empathy, meaning that they can't understand feelings. They don't know what you feel, and they don't know what they're feeling. Basically, that's what I think it means. And they can't be like, they can't see their sister or their spouse or their whatever sibling sad and be like, oh, my sibling's sad. They don't do that.
Now, my opinion, a little bit of that is true. There is some truth to that, because that's one of the deficits. Most children on the spectrum or with autism might have a deficit in showing empathy, but it is something that they do feel people's pain and they do cry. They just, most of the time, they don't know how to express or what to do with that. Like we don't. If you see somebody crying, and they don't want to be hugged, what do you do with that?
Right.
What do you do with that?
You have to teach them.
Yes, I think it's something that, yes, they can learn to not hurt. They're not always aware, but doesn't mean they're not empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
It just it's something they lack.
Yes,
It's
it's
more of
something
a lack.
lacking. It doesn't mean they can't have empathy. There are a lot of autistic adults like myself and Stacy that we know how to have empathy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just something that's learned. I learned it probably from siblings and everything, and all of us we taught Stacy.
Yes,
Okay.
and he know when you faking, cause I used
Yeah.
to fake cry.
He does know when you
He'd be
fake
like,
crying.
"Girl, get out of here
Yeah,
with
there
that."
was a time where I felt like Stacy had no empathy and he was just flat emotion all the time. But and he didn't like hugs, he didn't like nothing. But all the aunties, mom, siblings, aunties, uncles, everybody showed him love, and I believe that he learned love, and now he won't
Yeah.
stop. Okay, now he will not stop. Every morning he has to hug me 5 times.
That comes with a lot of that comes with the social aspect of part of the spectrum because one of the main deficits is social
Hmm.
for a lot of
Yeah, so learning people's cues as far
yeah
as when they're sad and stuff like that, it might take a long time to learn, but it's not impossible.
yeah it doesn't mean that they're not empathetic. They may just don't notice the cues or they're lacking the awareness of the cues.
Hmm.
That's one of the things we teach. We teach emotions
Hmm.
and how to regulate emotions because it's just a deficit. It's not that does not mean it's not there or they are not capable. It just
Hmm.
means there's some things that limits how they respond and that to empathy.
Next myth: detox would fix it,
Mm-hmm.
meaning the autism. A good old detox will fix your autism by removing the heavy metals from your body. I have been told this several times
I've
through the
heard
comments.
this
People
too.
tell me all the time, you should try this heavy metal detox, blah blah blah. You should try it. I haven't tried it yet just because I don't think that causes autism. And I see it, maybe it might benefit his body in a way and make him healthy. I don't
I
know.
think it might benefit just like it'll benefit anybody
Yeah.
because if you have detox in your body, your digestive system has a lot to do with your brain functioning and everything else.
Hmm.
So if you got stuff going through your body that could cause confusion in the mind
Hmm.
and but that's just not for a person with autism. That's for anybody.
Anybody. They
Anybody.
have commercials like that tell you, oh, if you're feeling mind fuzzy, what do they call it?
Yeah,
Mind fuzziness
mind
or something?
fog. Yeah.
Yeah, mind fog or something like that. Take these vitamins because it's true. That can affect your, mental at times, and it can affect your memory and all that. So a
Yes.
detox could help, but it's not going to cure
I'm
no
telling
autism.
you that for y'all, those who struggle with mental health,
Yes.
try to eat right. It'll do
Yes.
your body a difference.
Absolutely. We did a
But
whole
that's another
podcast
podcast.
episode about it. We did it already, sister.
Yeah.
I'm a
Oh
pin it.
yeah, we
I'm a
did.
pin it because look at it because it's important because all that stuff my sister be saying when I'm in, one of them depressive fogs, I just start looking at what I'm eating. I start looking at what I'm eating and I switch it up,
Yeah,
okay?
you need to do some detoxing.
Maybe you
Not
need to do some.
just of heavy metals, but
Yeah.
sometimes of just the stuff we eat.
Yes, the stuff you eat can affect your mental health for sure, but it's definitely not causing no autism and it's not
No,
going to cure it.
no,
Okay? Myth.
it's no such.
Myth.
Well, I hate to say it. I don't believe that there's a such thing as a cure for autism.
Yes, that is a tough thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand why you didn't want to say
Sorry,
it.
y'all, but it's just my opinion. You can hate me or not.
Mm,
At least I'm
yeah.
being honest.
Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with it because some stuff you just can't cure, okay? There's no cure for ADHD. There's no
Mm-hmm.
cure for OCD. There's no cure for. I
There's
could
no
go
cure
on.
for depression or mental health.
Right, that
You
could go
can
on.
manage it. It can
Thank
be
you, sister. You
managed,
took the words right
but
out.
the cure is like a cure to me means like I was healed and I no longer have this no more.
Yeah, I don't think that exists.
I think that exists with God.
Myth.
Myth.
Okay, detox will
Myth.
not fix it. Detox will not fix it. Okay. This is an important one. The next myth: only males, often white males, can be autistic. That's a myth. That's myth.
Yeah,
Women can be
that's
women and
definitely
girls are autistic.
yeah, definitely a myth. Now,
Mm-hmm.
it is true that there are less females diagnosed, but
Mm-hmm.
as you say, because
Why, sister?
females mask,
Thank
females
you.
do a better job at masking their behaviors than
Mm-hmm.
males do.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
How? Maybe because I don't know
I know why.
why.
Well, because when you're growing up, think about what like moms and stuff talk to daughters about compared to what moms talk to sons about. You know what I'm saying? I was just saying in my live stream earlier because we used to only wear dresses, remember? So you have to so you have to sit in certain ways so that you know your goods don't show
Yes.
while you in a dress. So I was just remembering how my mom used to teach me like when you sit down in the chair, do it like this sideways so that your legs don't pop open. You know what I'm saying? So girls have to know that stuff. They didn't teach the sons that.
Yeah.
Okay? When I was fidgeting, I'm sure my mom was like, be still, don't do that. That's not ladylike, such and such,
Yeah.
etc., etc., etc. And that's nobody's fault, but that's just how girls are brought up. That's how girls are brought up to sit still and look pretty. Okay? Not do this, not do that. Okay? Girls are brought up that way and we're taught to do that. And I feel like I just accepted. I was trying to behave. I didn't I didn't want to be considered a bad child, so I did everything the adults told me to do, so to speak.
I've worked with more boys than males than females, but I have worked with females who have autism, and yes, they're very more reserved. I guess, as in my perspective, they seem a little bit more aware of others than
Mm.
most children and persons on the spectrum. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's probably why, also another reason why they mask, because they're more aware of others.
Ooh, I like that. I did some research for another episode of the podcast, and the statistic for girls being wanting to be more socially accepted just across the board is higher than males. Anyways, like for the most part, uh, the boys they want to be accepted, but they don't care as much as the girls do
Yeah.
about being accepted around their peers.
Yeah.
So that would cause a female with autism to act like the other kids so that they'll be accepted.
Hmm. And I do believe that true, because when I have these my little guys, call them my little babies, and they are boys, they if people are not playing with them, they have a whole world that exists in their head that they can play
They
with.
don't even
So they
care.
are not phased at all. A boy will take a little piece of doo-doo paper, and that is the most adventurous toy ever. Versus a girl, I don't think she's gonna get much play with that little piece of
Mm-mm,
paper.
mm-mm. I can see that. I can see that.
My
So,
son used to use his fingers very pew pew
oh
pew.
man, I remember
And
those fights.
he is
They
not
they used to be
autistic.
karate fights.
He
Just
was just creative. Pew pew pew.
I do remember that. I'd be like, "Sir, quiet down back there." So that's a myth. There are autistic females. There are less females diagnosed because, like we said earlier, it's still emerging. The science is still emerging, and back in the day, no females were diagnosed, and no black ones definitely. So,
Yeah.
so that's a problem, but that's a myth.
You have to also consider all the factors other than just that person has might have autism. You have,
Mm-hmm.
like she said, you have to consider, one, they're female, they're black, or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case may be.
Mm-hmm. Because it does make a difference.
It does.
It does make culturally. It makes a difference the way you were raised. So, but anyways, I could talk about that all day long. But
Yeah,
anyways,
that's a heavy one.
next autism myth. So the last one we busted, that only males, often white males, can be autistic. That's
Oh,
false.
we went on a tangent.
We sure did. Okay, females can be autistic. The next myth: autism itself isn't real. And that I hadn't ever heard this, but when I looked it up, yes, other people think autism itself isn't real, and that it was made up by people trying to justify laziness and adult tantrums.
Oh, wow.
That's where they're calling
Who's
meltdowns.
mad?
Hey, a lot of people. Autism isn't real. You just want to be lazy. You just want people to coddle you. In fact, none of those are true, okay? Because I, in fact, am not lazy. And my son is not lazy either. We're not trying to justify no tantrums or nothing like that. I don't think this is true. Autism is real, and it is, as you saw. What did we say? Doggone it. What did we say, sister?
Environmental
Yes,
influences.
it's caused by environmental influences and all the things. Look back on the
Genetic
video.
influences.
Genetic influence, all the stuff. Okay.
It's like saying depression isn't real.
Right. That's
because you can't see what the cause is, and you only see the outcome. Then you think it's not real. That I think personally that whoever said that might be a little angry.
Yeah,
for
that's a very
reason.
closed-minded way of thinking about things, but you never know what people are going through.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah, and again, just that's why it's important to bring awareness and have an understanding, because people perish for lack of knowledge.
That's facts, sister. You said that.
That's biblical.
Oh, is it?
It's a scripture.
Oh, so that wasn't you. I thought you was over here bars. I was like,
no, it's a scripture.
I thought you was spitting bars. I'm weak. I was like, girl, that was profound, okay? I'm weak. So, yeah, that's a myth. Autism is real, and it wasn't made up by nobody, okay? It wasn't made up. Next myth: autistic people don't get depressed or anxious. Now, this is something that I couldn't find any other information.
Face.
What face you making? You rolling your eyes, rose eyes? I don't care. I couldn't find any other body that, outwardly said this on the internet, but I'm sure other people think it. Autistic people don't get depressed or anxious. They don't really know what's happening around them.
That's not true. They are very aware.
We just said
very aware. That's why they get anxious. That's why they get depressed. Yes. Because maybe sensory overload, maybe they're trying to communicate and they don't know how, or they're frustrated. They see all of these things going on around them and they don't know how to interact or deal with it, but they are very much aware, maybe a lot more aware than we are, and that's where their deficits come in, because they are aware.
I was just about to, that wasn't from the Bible too, was it?
No.
Okay. I was just about to say the same thing.
That's from observation.
Probably way more aware of everything.
Yes, that's from
much
observation.
more aware. Man, Stacy can hear things all the way down the street sometimes. He has to wear huge headphones when he's outside. Can you hear that stuff down the street? Probably not.
No.
Probably not. That could cause depression right there. Think about it. That's all you, every day. All you trying to do is watch TV and you hear somebody down the street talking to their friend. And you just trying to watch TV. And then you hear a cat over there fighting another cat 2 blocks down. That sounds crazy. That sounds like madness. That could cause depression and anxiety. Okay? It could definitely. But yeah, artistic people know what's happening around them. Even the kids, especially kids. I think we should definitely start treating them like they know what's going on around them.
I think that's one of, especially I have to commend my sister. I'm proud of her. I have to commend my sister because that's one of the things I know about my family. We never treated Stacy like something was wrong with him, and we talked to him. And my sister would always stand up for him when somebody is not talking to him like he's a person that understands. Like, that's rude to just assume just because they behave a certain way or they look a certain way that they don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's for anybody with a disability.
I hate that for them, because that means that you would just be walking around them, talking about them, doing everything just because you think that they don't understand.
And you think they wouldn't get depressed from that?
Oh my gosh, that would cause depression right there. Imagine going through your whole life not know what's going on because people don't communicate with you.
Oh my God.
Because people don't say, hey, good morning, son. When we wake up today, we're going to do this. Okay? And after that, we're going to do this. And because you're not communicating with them because you don't think that they understand, honey, that could cause depression right there.
Rude.
Very rude. Very rude. I cannot imagine living that kind of life.
And that's why that's probably, in my perspective and observations, that's why they stay closed off, because people, for that fact, treat them that way and don't acknowledge them and don't give them a voice, don't hear them. So why would I want to interact with you peoples that have been doing that?
Why would
Why?
you? Why?
Why?
No, I definitely
I got
feel
a
that.
whole world here that I can
I
entertain
definitely feel
myself
that. No,
with.
Stacy got it figured out. Okay, he only f with the people that he care
Yeah.
about. That's it, and that's
And
all.
he'll
And he don't
try
care
you.
about nobody else.
He'll test you
Mhm.
to see how you are, and then if you don't pass the test,
Yeah, you done after that.
he done.
He don't need to talk to you no more. He don't need to talk. I know some people now that walk around and he be like, "Look, you had your chance. Okay,
He
you
just
had
look
your
at
chance."
you like,
Hey, because my son knows his boundaries and he know how he want to be treated. If you not doing that, then sorry, he don't f with you, and that's it, and that's all. So yes, that is a myth. Autistic people do get depressed and anxious. They can, yes, they have all the feels, and they do know what's happening around them. All right. Next myth.
oh my,
Oh my, we ready for this?
yeah.
We ready? Well, I can cut it out later if you.
No,
So
no,
you
we
just
ready.
speak freely, and
I
then
think
you
we
let me know.
already touched this a little
We
bit.
did touch on it a little bit because we're going to South Africa. That's why I felt like I need to touch on it. So, let me. I don't have to highlight it, but I don't have to bring it up. But if you guys want to look at it for yourself, there is an article. I'm gonna put it in the description, and where I looked it up because my sister was talking about how in a cultural view of autism in South Africa. Correct me if I'm wrong. A cultural view, as a cultural view, people think a lot of things like these myths, and a lot of things as far as their culture goes, spiritual, all that kind of stuff. So that makes them ashamed of the autism, and that makes them not seek help.
Yes.
Okay. That took a long time to get out. So I looked this up because it reminded me of kind of Christianity a little bit. A lot of it, not gonna lie. It reminded me of Christianity a little bit. I'm trying not to hurt nobody's feelings, sister. I'm trying not to hurt nobody's feelings because I don't think anything is wrong with um, your religion, anybody's religion. No, the way you believe is the way you believe. But
if your belief hurts someone, then that's
you.
where I have an issue.
Thank you. Wonder Twins activate. But yes, that's what I was trying to say. I just couldn't find the words. If your beliefs are hurting someone, then yes, that's when I have a problem with it. So we're going to fact check this right now. Okay. So the article says there are Christians who believe that autism, like other illnesses and disabilities, exists as a punishment for sin. My sister said that earlier. Some Christians believe that. They believe that it's a punishment for sin, so they either A, don't seek help because they think they're supposed to go through this, or B, they just ignore it.
Or C, they just not unaware.
Unaware,
and
then they don't look up more information.
Ignorance is a big thing.
Being ignorant about something and trying to actually live that life is terrible.
Yeah.
You need to know more information.
It's kind of sad.
It's very sad. So before I ask you what you think about that, I'm going to tell you a story because this is not Christianity, but Stacy's godmother. Stacy's godmother.
This story.
Oh, you remember this story?
Yes.
Well, she's not his godmother anymore because that kind of weirded me out. But anyways, Stacy was 4 years old a year after he got diagnosed. Okay, and he was still not talking. He was considered nonverbal then. I went over to her house because she said she had some clothes for him and shoes and stuff. So I went over there. She cooked me some food. We hung out. Stacy kept going into this back room. Where there was another lady, but the lady never came out and greeted us for nothing, so I didn't know she was there. So he kept going into this back room with this lady, and it confused me because Stacy not one to be like all social with people. And even at that age, he stayed away from people, but he kept going back there. So I finally was like, what in the world? And I told his godmother, I said, he never walks up to people like that. Like, who is this person? She's like, oh, that's my sister. Whatever. She's from wherever they were from. I think they were from Costa Rica. But the lady finally started talking to me, and she said, your son don't talk, but she couldn't really speak that much English. But basically, translated was she was asking me Do your son talk? This, that, and the third. What's wrong with him? That's basically what she was asking me. And then I told her, oh, he's autistic. He's nonverbal. And then that's when she told me that she had done some kind of aura check of him because he kept coming back there in her room. So she checked his aura and she saw a spirit flying around him, floating or whatever the spirits do. And it was his grandma on his other side. His grandma on his father's side. His grandma is angry with the son. She passed on with unfinished business, angry with the son, hanging on to my son because she thinks that Stacy is him.
And that's a lot of the belief.
Yes. And when she told me that, at first I was like scared, actually. I was afraid because I thought she was actually reading some type of aura, and now we got this ghost flying around us. That's what I thought at first. But when I thought about it longer, I was like, what? Huh? And then I just didn't go back over there. Okay? Because that's just not something you tell somebody. But no, autism is not, it's not no ghost on your back. I don't think it's neurological.
It's not demonic.
No, it's not demonic. It's neurological. It's genetic. It's all of those things, but it's not a ghost.
And I'm, as a person who frequents church, I've seen.
That's what I was about to say. My sister go to church.
Who think that autism can be prayed away. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the same thing as they would say, "Oh, let's pray the gay away."
Yes.
I compare it to that because it is a big issue. Like, why do you think that because this child has behaviors that are not of the norm that they have a demon in them? Mm-hmm. And that again I attribute to just ignorance.
Ignorance, yes.
Not saying or doubting that God cannot do anything, but we live in a fallen world, people. We live in a fallen world, and because of that, we deal with fallen things. We deal with sicknesses. We deal with disorder. We deal with diseases. We deal with all kinds of things in this fallen world.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and it's not a punishment for anything.
No. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And I want to encourage anybody that wants to still be in their spirituality and their religion and still follow science and stuff like that. Because as you can see, my sister is in her spirituality. Okay, she's a spiritual person, but she still believes in the science and what her job taught her, what her profession taught her, and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to be ignorant because of your religion. You don't have to be. And if somebody is telling you something like this, and like the story that I told you, and you don't agree with it, you don't have to follow along with it.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow along with it. Just do the research for yourself. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And make up your own mind. Just bring awareness to yourself.
Yes.
Bring awareness to the table with you. Mm-hmm. Don't assume.
Yeah, I don't take nobody facts for facts until I fact check it. That's how you bring awareness.
Yes.
Because somebody just telling you, oh, autism is caused by Tylenol, and you like, is it? And you never take Tylenol again. Mm-hmm. Like, do that make sense? You fact check it. And when you fact check it, you're going to see, hey, that's false. Okay, that's fake news.
Yes.
You're going to see that. So that's what we think about that. That it's not no punishment for no sin.
Just the research.
Did I miss? I didn't miss anything. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything. It's not a punishment for no sin. It's not no demon jumping on your child. It's not nothing like that. Okay, it's not Papa Legba, any of them, whoever.
What's that?
I learned that in New Orleans.
Papa Legba.
Yeah, Papa Legba.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna be judgmental.
No, we ain't judging.
I don't know anything about it.
We just saying if those people were doing stuff, they don't care who has autism and who doesn't. I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay? This is caused by environmental stuff. Okay? It's caused by genetics, environmental stuff.
And one thing I do see common is a lot more parents having babies at an older age.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We went over all those factors that cause, that might influence autism. Okay? We went over all those factors, and none of them were in this myths list. Okay, it wasn't. It's not the Tylenol. Okay, they don't have psychic. People don't have psychic abilities, and it's not because you're an alien child that came from another plane. Okay, it's not because of that. Okay, you do have empathy. You can learn it. You do have empathy. A detox will not fix your autism. Okay, by removing the heavy metals, it might help you in life.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna fix your autism, okay?
And if you're gonna detox your child, detox yourself too.
Yeah, yeah, do detox yourself as well, okay? If you're gonna do a detox on your child, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but it's not gonna fix your autism. Uh, Females and males can be autistic, okay? Autism is real, and it's not because people are trying to justify laziness and adult tantrums, okay? Meltdowns are important.
Stacy agrees.
He agrees. You hear him, okay? I don't think meltdowns are nothing to play with. I think it's a part of life, okay? And honestly, the way Stacy does his meltdowns, I feel like it's so structured and organized. Okay,
It's
it
a
has
part
his
of
moment.
communication.
Yes, he has
and
his
emotions.
moment. He expresses his emotions, and then he goes to his safe space, and he comes back, and he's like, "We cool, elbow." You know, I feel like everybody should probably be like that. I have a hard time with it. I cannot move on as quickly.
I ain't ready.
Yeah, I can't move on as quickly as him, but I feel like everybody should be like that because yeah, we had a moment, but now we cool because we still love each other. I still have to act with you, okay? And last but not least, autistic people do get depressed and anxious, so they can, and they do know what's happening around them, huh?
The last was the Christian.
Oh yeah, my fault. Thank you, sister. And the last but not least, it is not autism is not a punishment for sin. And it does not mean you have a demon in you. You don't need an exorcism. Not because no autism.
If you believe in Jesus, he set us free from our sins.
Paid it all, okay? Paid it all. All right? You got anything to add to this, sister?
The most important thing that we've been saying throughout this podcast is get your awareness, get you some awareness, take you to this awareness every day.
Get you some. It's on sale.
If you don't know, the Google, Dr. Google, and is a good resource, but make sure that those resources are, educational resources and not just people talking all the time.
Make sure they're credible.
And find you ask some good questions and find some good information. It's just a lot of our children with autism and people with autism on the spectrum, Asperger's, whatever you want to call it. I'm not demeaning it. I'm just saying there is an array how people like to be termed. But get an awareness. Get an awareness because and treat others like you want to be treated. Don't not talk to someone or look at them in the eye because they're not giving you eye contact or because they have a disability and they look a certain way or they're acting a certain way. The rudeness.
It is the rudeness. Because I feel like people think just because they're not looking you in the eye, like you said, that they don't know what you're saying and they're not listening anyway. And even if they were listening, they don't understand yet. Now, I think that's fake news as well, okay? I think they know what's going on around.
Yes, that's
they understand.
Fake news.
And especially because there are people that say that Stacy still don't understand and they don't understand why I talk to him so much. Hey, if you don't understand by now, I don't know what.
Stacy understands.
Because I've been talking to him since he was little.
Stacy might not respond the way you think he should because he's got to process that. He's got to process it before he gets it together. That don't mean he don't understand.
That is facts.
Just means it's not coming out the same way that you think is normal and that it should be. That doesn't mean he does not understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And that doesn't mean that your child might be nonverbal. They might be la 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 while you talking, playing with their toys, but keep talking to them. Please. Because they probably listening. Yes. They probably are. Yes. Ain't that right, Stacy? Well, this time he not. I was trying to prove a point. He not listening this time.
TV back on.
He not listening this time, but they probably listen. So
He
I
got
would say,
TV on. That's why he not
oh, okay,
listening this
okay. My
time.
sister trying to help me because usually he do be listening, y'all.
Yeah, this whole time he was sitting back there making
Yeah,
noise.
man. I just noticed he got quiet.
It's because he
He
watching.
really into it. But yes, keep talking to these kids. Verbal, nonverbal, it doesn't matter. Keep
Yes.
talking to them. Keep explaining to them what's going on in their life.
Yes.
Let them know that they have, this is what's going on. This is their life too. Okay,
Yes.
don't just
Don't handicap them.
thank you.
Don't
Stop doing
disable
that.
them. You're the disabler. You're the
Stop
handicapper.
doing that. Stop babying them too. Stop that too.
If you're watching this, then you maybe are not the handicapper or disabler because you're trying
Yeah.
to learn. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying there are people who actually disabling and handicapping.
Yes, that is it. And that is all. Okay, thank
Thanks
you
for listening.
everybody. Yes, thank you everybody for watching, listening, whatever you're doing. My sister probably gonna come back. Okay, she got the knowledge, she got the information. If
Oh, thanks,
she don't
sister.
got it, we gonna look it up. You saw what happened. If she don't got the information, we gonna look it up for y'all. Okay, we busted myths, and do not forget to click that link in the description if you want to support my sister's trip to South Africa. She's going to South Africa to help these schools in South Africa, these low income schools, to have ABA, teach them ABA services and
Yes.
techniques to help them with their autistic kids over there because they don't have the services like we have here in the United States.
Yes.
Did I get that?
Yes, you
Okay,
got that
girl.
right.
Okay, girl. I had a little hard time practicing earlier. But thank you guys again. And if you
Bye.
like this video, make sure y'all go ahead and watch the next video over here. We think it's going to be right here. I think it's right here. Watch the next video over here. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.